Good evening, Canada. We are back with our brand new episode of Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my co host, Cindy Young. We have a very dynamic guest speaker today. He's our MPP Oakville, plus, he's Associate Minister of Mines. Welcome to our show, Stephen. Taking out time from your very hectic schedule. We truly appreciate your presence
As
here.
always, it's my pleasure to see you and be here today and talk to you.
It's a real pleasure you are coming for the second time in our interview and in our Voice of Canada. So introduce yourself to our audience. Just
Sure.
a small introduction.
Sure, small introduction. You gave a little bit of my biography, but born and raised actually in Mississauga. So I'm a true Mississauga citizen,
Yeah,
although
Lorne Park guy.
Lorne Park, I went to Lorne Park High School many years ago
See,
now.
I did the research.
My parents still live in their same home I grew up
Wow,
in,
wow.
in Clarkson Lorne Park. So, but live in Oakville now, represent the Oakville riding since
Very good.
2018. Prior to being in government, I served over 20 years in the private sector
Yeah, I read
in the
that.
business community.
I read that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A very warm welcome to everyone to our show, Voice of Canada tonight. And I'm Cindy Young, and I'm your co-host for this evening's show. And a very special welcome to our Honorable Stephen Crawford, who was elected as MPP in 2018, and then again in 2022. You've also completed 6 years at Queen's Park, so a lot of bio there. So if you could give us a little bit of report on what it was like at the Provincial Legislative Assembly, which is known as Queen's Park.
Yeah, so you are correct. I've been elected twice now at
18
Queen's.
and 22nd.
2018, 2022.
22.
Yes, I'm not a career politician. I'm a business person.
You're a seasoned
I'm a business
politician
person
now.
who saw issues in our province and our country. I saw it with Justin Trudeau being elected in 2015. I saw it right away. I could see that there was going to be issues with him being leader of the country. And with that as well, Kathleen Wynne in Ontario, having closed schools, closed medical seats for doctors, and we wonder why there's a doctor shortage today. They actually closed medical seats. I saw the debt growing and the economy and manufacturing falling apart. And I was motivated because I as I mentioned, I was born and raised here. I love this province. I love this country. I ran for public office in 2018. I made the decision in 2017 to run, and in 2018 I was the actual first election. But there has
Remember we had a coffee.
yes,
Which you used to bow in
Yes.
at Starbucks.
yes I do, I do, I do.
All remember
6
it.
years
I
ago.
7 years
7
ago.
years ago.
Probably
yeah.
7 years.
Also-
Yeah,
7
He
years
was
ago.
trying to fight the elections.
Yes.
that time.
yeah. So we stay in touch, and but there's been a lot going on at Queen's Park. There's
Sure
a lot to
has.
talk about, and we did our fall economic statement back in the fall. We continued the gas tax cut. We are paying very high prices for gas at the pumps
We
now.
are.
A lot of that is related to the carbon tax from the federal
Carbon
government.
Yes.
We are countering that with doing a provincial gas tax. We're also sending out $200 rebate checks
Right.
to individuals.
This will be given next month, early next
It'll
month.
be coming next month.
Yes.
And, people say, well, why did you do this? I mean, most people I talk to, the overwhelming majority are happy, but they say, why are you doing this? Well, first and
It was
foremost,
a gesture of goodwill.
yes. And we've been in an affordability crisis now for several years.
For
right?
sure.
Gas prices,
Everything
prices
has
at the
gone up.
grocery store.
Everything is
We're
fine.
trying to help consumers out. Now, what I will say to that as well is we're in fiscally a good position in the province. So it's not like the deficit we have right now is very high. In fact, we have a path to balance. We'll be balanced in the next 12 months, it's projected,
Wow,
which
wow.
is the only major
Wow.
government in Canada
Amazing.
Canada.
that will have a balanced budget. So we're in a good position. We
Beautiful.
want to pay the people back with their own, it's their money.
It's their
the
money.
taxpayers'
Yeah.
money. And the overwhelming majority of people are very happy about that.
Yes.
No, people are welcoming the decision.
Yeah.
What has been
Absolutely.
taken. They will get at least some help.
Yeah.
Something is better than nothing.
Yes.
What we
Absolutely.
usually say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Minister Stephen Crawford, tell us about your old days in Lawn Park School and all that little bit going back to history.
Yeah.
Because even my child stays in Lawn Park only.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she stays
Yeah.
in Lawn Park, and I
Oh, okay.
often visit
Oh.
the area and love the place.
It's
Well,
beautiful area.
yeah. No, my parents bought a house in 1965
Wow.
in Clarkson Lorne Park area.
Lawn Park, yeah.
Yeah.
They still live in the same house, if you can believe it
Yes.
today. My
No?
father will have his 90th birthday next
Wow.
month
Uh-huh.
in great
That's
shape. Both my parents
fantastic.
Lovely. God
still
bless
live in their
them.
house. God bless them.
God
Yes.
bless them.
But they love the area. And
Oh,
they said, we're going to stay in this house. You know,
And
we're
have
not
a Rudy
Absolutely, why-
Cozzetto
yeah.
represent them.
Rudy Cozzetto is their MPP, and they always make sure they put a sign on their lawn for
Definitely.
Rudy.
Why move when you got a good thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, it's a
Absolutely.
great community, Mississauga, Clarkson Lawn
And
Park
good
area is
schools.
absolutely.
Oh,
Schools
yes.
also very
Absolutely.
good
Oh,
standing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And a
and
good life.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely amazing. Before you entered the public service in 2018, you played a tremendous role in the investment sector for 20 years, which is a lot of years. If you can inform us about some of these years.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I said, you know, I'm not a career politician.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm a business person.
But now we count you as
yeah.
a seasoned politician.
I guess I'm becoming that. Yeah, yeah.
We
But
see how you
but
speak,
you know,
how you address.
some people are career politicians. Some
Sure
people
they are,
they
yeah.
want to serve for the purpose of serving, and that's their career goal. My
Mhm.
career goal was to
serve the community.
serve the community because I love the community in the province and the country. And I did serve at two different investment firms. I worked with a company called Acuity Funds for 13 years. We we built that company to be a very successful Canadian investment firm. We sold the company in 2011 to
Uh-huh.
AGF, which is
Very
a
good.
publicly
yeah.
traded company.
Yeah.
The company was sold for, well, we had almost $10 billion in assets
Wow.
at the
Wow.
time. We sold for in excess of $330 million.
Beautiful.
Private company.
Amazing.
We created a lot of wealth. We
Yes.
created prosperity for unit holders, for shareholders,
Beautiful.
for the community, and help people have comfortable
Very
retirements.
good.
most
That's
Very
importantly.
amazing.
So that we did very well. After that, I went and partnered with a gentleman I'm sure you know very well, Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
worked with
Definitely
him.
the finance guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I ran O'Leary Funds for about 3-4 years, and then we turned that company around, and it was sold to a company called Canoe Financial
He's a
in
wizard.
2016.
Financial wizard.
Yes, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I was involved with both those companies. They were both great situations where both companies were purchased, and I do keep in touch with Kevin. I know he was down to see
We
President.
met him during he was in leadership race.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
We got in touch with him and I had asked him a lot of questions.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And I had a chat with him actually on Sunday.
Lovely.
I had a chat with him. He had just met President-elect Trump. He's down there at Mar-a-Lago, so
Oh,
we had a good
wow.
little chat.
So as soon as he gets little free, we will request you, we'll use your office. So if we can get him and just come and speak
Sure,
to, it will be
sure.
a good opportunity for him also
Yeah,
to
yeah.
come and expose, and you can say, okay, they are on a national network
Yeah,
and they are doing very well.
yeah, yeah.
It's nearly
Yeah.
9 years now. We are
Wow,
running this
that's
channel,
phenomenal.
but
Yeah.
only second year with the Rogers and Shah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Okay, Minister Crawford, inform our viewers, they would be really interested to know, prior to coming into Ministry of Mines, you were serving some other ministries of finance and energy and all. So explain to them what was your role.
Yes. So before,
You're a parliamentary assistant?
yes, parliamentary assistant.
Okay.
So basically, how it works at Queens Park is that you are elected as an MPP, and some MPPs then become what's called parliamentary assistant. They're like assistant to a
to the
minister.
minister, correct.
So, and then after that, there's associate and minister. So, associate minister is basically you are a full you are a cabinet
Full
minister.
cabinet, you're part of
Um,
cabinet, yeah.
So that's what I am now. Now, in terms of what I was in the past, I was parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Finance, Peter Bethan-Falvey, great
Oh, wow,
finance
great
minister.
man,
Wow.
great
Worked
man.
with him for 2 years. Great leader, the best finance minister this province has ever had, putting us back on a path to balance. We've also been upgraded by several of the rating agencies at Standard & Poor's and Moody's, and these global rating agencies that rate Ontario's debt. We've been upgraded by many of them in the past
Beautiful.
year or two. So
Oh, very
we're getting in
good.
a much better financial shape, and a lot of that is as a result of.
Our MPPs are working. Our premier is a hardworking
Absolutely.
guy. He's available, visible
Yes.
everywhere.
And you know what? We've always had the belief that you put the horse before the cart,
Very
right? Not the
Yes.
cart before the
No,
horse.
no, no.
Yes.
And if you do that, life is a little more simple than what simple
Yes.
people
Must
make
be.
it.
You
But
hope so, yeah. Exactly.
Go ahead.
As an MPP from Oakville, which is your vibrant city of Halton, what projects have you undertaken in your riding, as every riding has different needs and different requirements? What are some of the things that you've done?
yeah, Oakville is a great community, 220,000 and growing. We love Oakville, and although
Oakville
yeah,
It's
is
a rich city.
beautiful.
After
It is.
Markham,
Yes.
we count Oakville.
most importantly because of the people, right? They're
Yes.
good people. There's a
No,
lot of
very
philanthropy
classy people.
support.
Yeah.
Certainly the hospital. I think one of I would say the number one success I've had in the community was saving Ford of Canada from leaving, because they were
wow.
very, very close to making a decision to go back to the United States. This is a few years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And we worked very hard to incent them
retain
to
them.
stay in Oakville, and they're now retooling the plant so they can make the F-150 vehicles there, which are very
Yes.
popular,
Very
and they don't have
popular.
enough facilities
And
in
a
the
very
States.
high demand abroad also.
Very
across
high
the border
demand,
too.
yes.
Absolutely. So I would say that would be my number one success. I've also been able to preserve the Glen Abbey Golf Course, which was going to be
That's
bulldozed
a very
over.
historical.
And it's a
golf
great
course.
historical Canadian Open there.
Yes.
Tiger Woods got that great shot
Yes.
there.
And we have been many times, so even for political events.
Absolutely.
Right. I had gone for lunch with Monroney.
Yes.
President,
Yes.
They were
ex-premier
going to get rid
Mulroney.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
And even
Wow.
Andrew Scher had an event there over there, and it's a great place.
It's a great place.
and a great location.
It's a great location. So, and following that, certainly building new schools in the community because the community is growing, I think has been one of our accomplishments. But we'll keep fighting for Oakville.
Definitely,
Very
it's
nice.
a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Okay, Minister Crawford, inform us and our viewers. Talk about the recent forthcoming elections because there's a fever going on.
There is.
And everybody is talking that there will be provincial elections.
Yeah.
And even the premier has not hidden the fact. He said we will go for
Yeah.
elections.
Yeah.
So what is an utmost necessary that instead of
Yeah.
2026, you all are coming 1 year ahead practically?
Well, listen, there's no guarantee there will be an election, first of all. Now, having said that, there could be an election, and the
you all are
premier,
knocking.
the premier,
All even the ministers
right.
are knocking the
the
door.
premier has made it, clear that
Yeah.
if President-elect Trump brings in some hefty tariffs that are really going to dramatically affect the province and the
Mhm.
that
country,
is an anxiety.
we may need to go to the people to get a mandate to say
Mandate under the fold,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
So
Right.
that may be possible,
Makes
and
sense.
that may be imminent within a matter of weeks.
And I feel we will have elections of province also
Right.
soon after the federal elections.
Yes,
We are very sure about
there
it.
will be a federal election for sure this
Oh, for
year. I
sure.
don't know when. It could be spring.
Spring.
Probably, but we don't know.
Middle of spring or maybe end of spring
Yeah.
elections is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming for
That
sure.
is sure.
Yeah,
because
but
they-
what I can see at my eye level is overall people are fairly satisfied with the provincial government.
Mhm.
Yeah, overall, and it's a good chance to take the third term.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
keep your work going.
We
on.
need to keep doing what we're doing
Mhm.
because we've brought the province, we're bringing it back to black, we're getting back on balance, we're building hospitals, we're building infrastructure, roads, bridges, transit. We have the largest investment in transit in North America
Mhm.
happening right now as we're building subways. Previous governments talked about it. They never
And the
delivered.
largest
Right.
hospital is under
The
construction.
largest hospital is under construction in
Yes.
Mississauga, where I was born, in Mississauga Hospital.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of infrastructure. We need to make sure that whenever the election happens, be it in a matter of weeks or a year from now, wherever, we need to.
But you all have
be
been
reelected.
already acclaimed if the election
I'm
happens,
acclaimed as a candidate
most of
for
the-
Oakville.
yeah,
Yes.
most of the.
Yeah. So I will run again. I will continue to serve.
Definitely, we need a
the
person
people.
like you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Go ahead.
We see that you are heavily involved in the Oakville community, and you are also a very active member of Oakville Chamber of Commerce. And you're amongst the 100 people who care for Oakville. If you can inform our viewers of what role you played in this business forum.
Yeah, in the Chamber of Commerce, I've been an active member and
Mhm.
supporter of the Chamber because they play such a key role
Key
in our
role,
community.
Definitely.
100 Guys Who Care is basically a charitable group of literally 100 guys who got
100
together
guys.
and they get together every quarter to support a local charity and they
Mhm.
vote on it. They go to different
Very good.
facilities. And I find Oakville is a very philanthropic community. So
Community.
people really want to give back. We love our community and they like to give back, support local charities and where they have an impact.
Very
So
good.
that's something I've
Giving
been,
back to
Nice.
community.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah.
That is very good.
Very nice.
Let's talk about some housing shortage, severe housing shortage, what you all are doing.
Mhm.
But still nobody is talking about the affordable housing.
Mhm.
Mm.
All are talking about the luxurious condos and the houses, separate built houses and everything detached and semis and all.
Yeah.
But we are in huge shortage for affordable housing.
Yes. We're in shortage of all housing, but you are right. Affordable is particularly important. Now, our government brought down some policies which help make it more incentivized to build affordable housing.
The
For
prices
example,
has come down a bit.
a little bit, yeah. Purpose-built rentals, we took out the development charges, or they can be paid over a
Mhm.
longer period of time, as an example. And we've also mandated more affordable housing when certain condos are being built and whatnot.
Mhm.
But listen, it's a problem. There's no doubt about it. But when you have 1 million people
Yes.
come into the province
Absolutely.
in a matter of a couple years,
Yeah.
which is
It
the
becomes
highest
difficult.
immigration
Yeah.
rate in the entire world,
Yeah.
and that we don't control. That's the federal government.
It's going to put us in
It
crisis.
puts pressures
Yeah.
On the province.
on the province.
For
Where
sure.
the province is dealing with a lot of the issues, unfortunate issues that the federal government has thrust upon us, and be that crime, which is an important issue we can certainly talk about, housing, infrastructure, medical, all these issues it puts pressure on, and we're swimming upstream. You know what I mean, against some of those policies that the federal government put into place.
Some other pressures and obstacles.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Financially, the city of Oakville is a quiet, comfortable compared to other cities around the GTA. What are some of the things that Oakville is doing to assist the other communities, especially the neighboring cities around them? They have so many other issues in those neighboring cities, unemployment, heavy shortages of their food banks, lack of services at hospitals, and finding family doctors. So there's so many different issues in all those neighboring cities. What are some of the things that Oakville, who may
Any
have
projects
more
you're
of those
undertaking,
things?
Yeah, I mean,
we can afford to take some projects,
there are,
helping the sister cities.
And we do, by the way, there are people from the neighboring communities, particularly Burlington, that go to the Oakville Hospital. Where I know the Oakville Hospital has requested, they built that hospital a number of years ago, but it's still fairly new. There's what's called a ghost floor on the hospital. So there's one floor that's all roughed in. It's built. It's not. It doesn't have in Oakville. But we're looking at hopefully at some point getting the funding to be able to fill that floor up, because it does serve people from other communities. When COVID was on, Oakville Hospital is full from people from Mississauga and Burlington. So it's a good hub hospital. It's a great reputation, great doctors, great facility that helps serve our member communities from local neighbors from Mississauga, Oakville, etc. We also want to look at more transit between the communities, not just within the community, but
in the Halton region.
Right, like Oakville and Milton, for example, or
Milton has come out very well.
Yeah.
Because I regularly use the Milton Hospital.
Yeah.
Because our hospitals, the waiting time is 14 hours, 10 to 14 hours.
Yeah.
But if I go in emergency to Milton, I'm sure to get back home in 5 hours. Maximum.
Yeah, and that's we've put a lot of investments in infrastructure and hospitals. We've also
Plus
now
good service.
Absolutely.
Doctors are good and
Absolutely.
very nice service at Milton.
No, that's good to hear. But it's critical that we have the doctors, and we have we put investments into getting more family doctors, having stay-in grant programs. Family doctors were in real short supply, so we're willing to help support people that are willing to commit to that family medicine. And the new medical schools we're building, they haven't built them in Ontario in decades. We're building them now in Ontario. One in Brampton, and I believe the other one's in York region, if I'm not mistaken.
One is coming in Brampton.
Yes.
The medical school is coming in Brampton.
Training these doctors is going to be critical. It takes years. And what's important about that is we've mandated that the absolute, I think it's over 95, 98% of the doctors must be from Canada and Ontario, right? We don't want to train doctors from Saudi Arabia to go back there. We need doctors here.
Definitely.
We have to look after our people.
Our own people and serve Canadians.
Yes, absolutely. If you could give us the progress of the largest hospital here, we were just talking about that.
Mississauga, because we have asked FG and every MPP what is the progress and how fast the work is going on.
Yeah. Well, I was born in that hospital, so I only have good things to say about it.
It's near the Trillium, the new tower is coming.
I know it's underway. Our government's been committed to making sure it's done in a timely and cost-efficient manner. It's going to be enormous. If you look at the facility, you probably know more about it than I do.
We have asked a lot of questions about so many people, so many MPPs came and discussed. Rudy was the most informative.
I believe it's in Rudy's writing.
Rudy's writing, and he's
probably
a great interest.
I'm most familiar with it, but I know we're committed to making sure it's built, and the people of Mississauga are going to be very thankful when that is built.
Believe me, we'll be thankful. Plus, let me tell you, even the Trillium, second part of Trillium, which is at Sherway Gardens, that is also expanding for information.
Yes.
Already.
And that's right on the border of Mississauga and Etobicoke. So it's
part of Trillium.
A lot of the people are there in Mississauga.
So that is also being expanded. The emergency was shut down a few years ago. That they plan to reopen. And it's going to be great.
Okay, good.
We'll be taking a short break and we'll be with you soon. Welcome back after a short break in our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my co-host, Cindy Young, and our speaker tonight is MPP Stephen Crawford, who is also the Associate Minister of Mines. So welcome back after a short break.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Let's talk about some carbon tax. Now, the good news is that there will be a change in the federal government. And the party which is going to rule the federal government has promised the leader that federal tax will be axed. So do you think it will be completely axed?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf
No,
of the
you can't
Federal
be. Just
Conservative
what's your
Party, but
information?
my speculation would be that it would be axed
be,
because it's
yeah.
hurting consumers, businesses, investments in Canada, and I think it'll be a great thing for the people of Ontario and Canada if it is axed.
Axed. It would completely
Yeah.
abolished.
Yeah.
Go ahead. After the resignation of our Prime Minister, our federal government is at a standstill until March 24th due to the House of Commons shutting down and severe threats from President-elect Donald Trump coming up very, very soon on imposing higher tariffs of 25%, which could collapse many of our communities here in Ontario. Is the government of Ontario and our Premier, Doug Ford, taking steps from averting these drastic happenings on January 20th, 2025? So just a week away when President-elect Donald Trump is serving these threats to Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
That has become very serious now.
Yeah.
Well, it's very serious.
Very
it could
close.
be 400,000 or 500,000 jobs in Ontario that would be affected if full tariffs were put into place. So yes, the Ontario government's been very proactive. We've been engaging with our U.S. Senators, Congress people, counterparts for many, many months, even before the election, in anticipation of a potential,
Knowing it's coming,
right, election of Donald Trump
And
or whoever.
is very active. He's
So
leading the whole Premier's
absolutely. The Premier is really leading Canada at this
Yesterday
point
was-
because there's a power vacuum at the federal level. The federal government is not.
Because just now it's a vacuum. It's not properly operating. Prime Minister
Exactly.
has resigned, but he's completing his term and the duty is still.
Exactly. So Premier
is
Ford has taken an active role in that, and we are actively engaged on that file. We will see next week what happens.
Yes.
We hope for the best, prepare for the worst, but the province of Ontario
We
certainly
have to stand strong as united now
absolutely.
for Canada. Because
we
Yes,
absolutely do.
and some things come from the federal level, like tariffs, on U.S. products would come at the federal level. But there's things we can do provincially as well that we are basically ready to go on day one. If the U.S. does impose tariffs, we're going to make it painful for some of those U.S. states and some of those U.S. senators
definitely
that have the ear of the president, because
we have to stand for Canada.
Yeah.
Because he
Absolutely.
has even given us a threat to annex Canada.
yeah,
Which is not a joke.
yeah,
It's not funny.
It's
no.
not. It's totally funny. How can he annex a country which is in NATO power, G7, G20, plus we are under monarchy ruled.
yeah,
So how can they just take over? He's going to take over the whole Canada.
yeah. I totally agree with you.
No, absolutely.
And I think the overwhelming majority of Canadians are pleased and support Premier Ford in his standing up to President Trump.
absolutely.
And again, we're not even just family. We're not even just friends with the United States. We are family. But
Yes.
And
With
largest
family-
trading partner.
with family, sometimes there are issues. There's an issue now, and we're going to
Yes.
stand up.
Yes,
It's that simple.
that's simple. Yep.
That's good. I hope we stand and be
Absolutely.
united.
Absolutely.
Because here
Yes.
there is no need for any politics. We have to stand strong
Yeah, and
as Canadians.
I think partisanship is put aside here. It's
Yes.
the national
This
interest
is the
first.
time now for Canadians to really stick
Yeah.
together and
Yeah. Doesn't matter whether you're conservative, liberal, NDP, whatever.
100%.
It's
We are Canadians,
Yeah.
and we have to stick up for our country.
Go
For
ahead.
sure. It's your 15.
Stephen, will you would you throw some light on thefts also taking place, car thefts especially, and house thefts, even in Oakville?
Oh yes, that is
Oakville is not left.
absolutely not. There's been a dramatic
Yes.
increase in car thefts, in home invasions. I've
Home
seen people
invasions.
come to my
Yes.
office that
Wow.
have had a gun put at their head in a
Oh,
home
really?
invasion.
And
I mean,
your-
yes,
Oh my
yes, this
God.
is a
It's a serious issue.
serious,
Very serious
serious
issue.
issue
Yeah.
across the country.
Across everywhere.
Okay, and it's
Yes.
in Oakville, definitely.
Yeah.
Our government has taken action to the extent that we
Mhm.
can, whether it's funding police, getting more police recruits, putting laws in place. But let's keep in mind the actual criminal code is run by the federal
Federal
government.
government, yeah.
Yeah.
And we need drastic change on bail reform. That is the number one issue.
Totally
If you
agree.
talk to the police officers,
Mhm.
that is why these people are getting out on bail the
Mhm.
day after they're arrested. Totally unacceptable.
Absolutely.
Unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable. And it seems like the
It's a
current Liberal
crime.
government is not going to do anything on this file.
So you mean we need overall police reforms?
Yes. We
But
need
the
legal
federal
reforms.
government should
Yes.
take initiative.
Yeah,
for
there's
it.
things that provincial government can do. We've done it. We take public safety very seriously. The overarching biggest concern among, if you ask police officers who are in day-to-day dealing with it,
Mhm.
is the federal bail legislation, which allowed criminals the onus to be put on the police and the crown as opposed to the criminals.
Mhm.
And that has changed and skewed it to the criminals' favor. That is totally wrong.
Our law is too weak in
Absolutely.
dealing such issues. They should be very strict.
Yeah.
They should not come
Yes.
out because what the police that day we had a town hall meeting and I heard the
Yeah.
police saying
Yeah.
a guy was caught 5 times
Yeah.
for card theft. And he knows
That's
the
not
next day he will
acceptable.
be out. So
Totally unacceptable.
totally unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
Yeah.
So we're doing everything at the provincial level. We need the federal government to do bail legislation reform, which it appears as though the current federal government will not do. But there'll be an election soon enough that the people can have their say on that.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
Go ahead. While researching on you, MPP and Associate Minister, we also read that you have got 2 set of beautiful twin girls,
Mhm.
and they are identical.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, because we are really interested to know more about it and how you all manage when they were infant. Now that they are grown up, they are going to their school.
Well, my answer to that is I don't know how I managed.
You and your
Yeah, my wife. Yeah.
spouse, yeah.
Yeah. So I have 4 girls.
Beautiful.
They're-
God bless them.
Yeah. Yeah. Only have to deal with
Nice.
2 birthdays though,
Uh-huh.
right? With
That's
4
true.
girls. So
4 girls.
only 2
That's
birthday
true.
parties.
But
But
they
yeah.
look alike.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you
2
all
sets
recognize
identical.
them?
Well, when you're the father,
Father and the
you
mother,
obviously
you all
know.
know.
You know.
But is there no difference in their features or anything?
The older girls they're identical, but I think you could
You
see
can
there's a bit of a
justify.
difference.
Yeah,
The
parents
younger
always
2
recognize.
really do look similar.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're like 98% similar. Maybe the older
Wow.
ones are maybe like 94% similar.
And the
Ah.
younger ones?
They're
They're like-
spitting image.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're
Really?
14. The older girls are 19.
19. Beautiful.
Oh my
Beautiful.
goodness.
God bless
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And
How
you're the,
precious.
and is it
And
in
I'm
your-
still here.
And it's in your family about the twins?
No.
So how can both times this
Well,
be
identical twins tend to be random,
random?
whereas fraternal twins can be hereditary. There are some
Mhm.
families that it does tend to run. Identical twins is more random. It's less frequent than fraternal twins too,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes, and then you have 2 sets.
Yeah.
And how about the moods and the habits and all? They're identical?
Yeah, pretty similar. There are differences in personality for sure.
Personality
Yeah.
differences there.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But I mean, on a scale, of people, they're still quite similar and similar interests, but they are different if you
And
know
they
them.
must be standing by themselves or managing the other twin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So in school, they find any difficulty?
Nope. They've played a few tricks on teachers over the years.
Really, it was amazing
Yeah,
to see the
absolutely.
picture. And when I saw
Yeah.
the picture,
Yeah.
from my heart it came out. God bless them. They are
Definitely
lovely.
be some
They're
fun
lovely
for
girls.
them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're a proud father.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
True.
amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wow. Time has definitely flown by today while recording your interview. If you have some ending comments, some advice for Canadians.
Ontarians,
Or-
especially.
Yeah.
What would you advise the Ontarians in the
Yeah.
current circumstances?
Well,
especially?
I think that's a good question actually, and I think under the current circumstances is as Canadians, as Ontarians, let's stick together.
Mhm.
Let's support local businesses where we can,
Small
whether
businesses,
it's
local
your
business, yeah.
program, which we
Mhm.
so admire. It's a great locally run program by Ontarians to put through to Ontarians and the world even beyond. But let's support local companies where we
Mhm.
can,
Absolutely.
and let's stick together. It might be a little bit of a rough patch ahead of us, but we've been through worse. We've been through wars. We've
Absolutely.
been through COVID. But we're going to stay united. We will come out of this
And
even
in the
stronger.
past, also, we have seen the same tactics of President-elect Trump.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are used to it.
Yes.
So our team is ready to face the
Yes.
challenge.
Absolutely.
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 We will get
Okay.
through this.
So we'll be signing off soon from our show Voice of Canada for this afternoon. I thank MPP Stephen Crawford, who is the Associate Minister of Mines. The last question I would like to hear from you, so answer. What actually the mines over here in Ontario, what we dig out?
Yeah, it's a
What
very,
kind of
very,
minerals? Yeah.
very good question. Ontario is endowed with some of the best minerals in the world. We opened 2 new mines last year, which is
Mhm.
great. 2 gold mines in that case.
Oh,
But we
wow.
have gold. We have nickel.
Like
we have
South
the
Africa.
highest. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
We have the highest grade nickel in the world right here in Ontario. You go to Indonesia, It's lower quality. It can't be used for everything that you need it for. Number one. Number two, they're ripping apart the rainforest. Human rights don't care about that. It's run by the Chinese, financed by the Chinese with the intention of trying to destabilize our markets. We've got good, clean, ethical nickel here. We have cobalt. We have lithium, graphite. We have an incredible abundance.
For the electrical batteries also.
Absolutely. So we are very well positioned.
Rich in minerals.
Absolutely.
And are we exporting or utilizing domestically only?
Mostly export, some
Mostly
domestic,
export,
but mostly
and some domestic uses there.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for coming to our show, and hope in future too you'll be giving us a call and come over. If there is any important announcement.
I would love to. I'd love to support your local media because I think you do a great job.
We are grateful to you. So with that note, we'll be signing off for this week's episode of Voice of Canada. Keep watching our show every Saturday at 8 p.m. And this Saturday, you'll be seeing the show of Mr. Stephen Crawford. So with that note, we say good night, goodbye, God bless Canada, God save our King.
Nice.